In this video, I'm going to show you a wavy hair routine for lazy girls because I am the type of girl who doesn't really want to spend more than 10 minutes on my hair. Finding out that I have wavy hair is one of the best things that happened to me, but the process to get to that wavy hair was just a little too much work. It was more effort and time that I'd want to spend on my hair. Recently, I stayed at my friend's place, and the night before I left, I showered and I decided to just not do anything with my hair. I didn't style it or anything because I knew that the whole next day would be spent in the car driving home. So I put no product in it whatsoever, like no leave-in, no mousse, no gel. And the next day I did my refresh routine, and guess what? It pretty much looked the same as when I style it after I shower and spend like maybe half an hour on it. So now that I've come to learn that my refresh routine is really the routine for me, I am not going to spend all this time styling my hair after I shower, especially because I am someone who showers at night. So even if I do something, it's gonna get slept on and ruined anyway. So I showered last night. This is what my hair looks like. I did not put any mousse or gel. I did put some leave-in conditioner. And honestly, this is kind of fine. Like, I would go out with my hair like this. It looks a little bit better than usual because I did try twirling some of the pieces yesterday, which seemed to have helped. So this is what we're starting with, which is honestly not that bad if you ask me, but let's get to the routine. I always brush my hair out with a wide tooth comb before I start my routine, before I wet it, just to get all the tangles out. One of the biggest things I've learned with 2A waves is to just not be precious with it. When you have 2A waves, your hair doesn't really clump together the way that maybe 2B or 2C wavy hair does. It just kind of flows. And I've realized I really don't have to be so precious with my waves. So I'm using a continuous spray bottle, which just makes it easier to get it wet. I'll put a link in the description. And basically, I just go in and wet my hair. So as I was saying, if you have 2A waves, you really do not need to be precious with them. Some people have asked me, what do I do at night to preserve my waves? Nothing. I don't try to preserve my waves because refreshing my hair is so easy. It doesn't take much time, so it's so much easier to refresh it than to try to like put my hair in a wrap or like in a ponytail and sleep in some uncomfortable way. The most I will do is get a silk pillowcase because that's just good for your hair, but I don't use one right now, so I really do nothing. If you have thicker hair, you can divide it and style it separately, but again, lazy girl, I just kind of lift it and get under there to make sure that everything gets wet. Also for me, my inner layer of hair underneath, so all this hair over here, is not even 2A. It's pretty much like 1C, and it really doesn't get wavy. So I just don't really care to spend that much time on it. For me, what's important is just what you're gonna see, which is the outer layer of my hair, and that's the only area of my hair that is 2A. If you have access to filtered water, I would use filtered water in the spray bottle just because it's better for your hair. Also, when I'm wetting my hair, I don't really get my roots wet because I don't want my scalp to be wet. I don't want my hair to be soaking the way that it is when I get out of the shower. Again, this is meant to be a much easier, quicker routine. And you can see like I'm kind of just brushing through it with my fingers because again, I am not precious with the waves. They are so subtle, they are beachy, they are effortless, and they will come through in the end, you will see. I want to make sure all my hair is kind of evenly wet, so I am just kind of combing through it as I spray it. So I do like working in two sections, which I then put together, but I have issues with the very middle back of my hair, just like not really getting that wavy. So it helps if I start with it separated. So you can see that my hair is pretty wet. It actually is dripping, but like I said, my whole scalp area is dry. Like I don't want to get my scalp wet because that takes a long time to dry. Make sure that your hands are wet when you're working with your hair. I will spray onto my hands with the water and just, start scrunching. Honestly, water does a lot. When your hair is naturally wavy, then that's the texture of it. You don't really need to do a whole lot. So honestly, if you already have product in your hair from the day before and this is just a refresh, you don't really need to put product in. But because I didn't put any product in my hair last night, I'm going to go and put in some product. I'm going to show you the products that I'm using right now. It doesn't necessarily mean they are the best products for my hair because I am still experimenting. And now the season has changed to summer and it's a lot more dry. I don't really think I have found the right products yet, but these are working for me right now. So I'm using some Pro's leave-in conditioner, and again, I'm just combing it through. And then once I comb it through, I'm gonna scrunch. Okay, and I'm going into the other side. And if at any point while you're doing this, you feel like your hair is kind of getting too dry, just re-wet it a bit because it is easier to work with if it is wet, and you'll get less frizz if you style it while it is still more wet. So I'm just gonna add a bit of water, and I raked through the leave-in conditioner and I'm just scrunching. I used to be kind of worried about raking product through my hair because, again, if you watch people who have wavier hair, they do have really beautiful wave clumps that they don't want to disturb. But when you have 2A waves, they are so subtle, and raking it through actually helps evenly distribute the product more, especially when you're not styling your hair when it's soaking wet. So I've gotten over that, and I am now just good with raking the product through. So once I do the two sides, this is where I'll then like put everything to one side and then just scrunch it all together. It is kind of drying up, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit more wet as I continue doing this. Okay, step one is done, leave-in conditioner is done. Now we're gonna go in with some mousse. I'm gonna start with two separate sides once again, and this is about how much mousse I use on one side. So I just distribute it on my hands, and I do glaze it on top because, like I said, the top of my hair is the most wavy, so I want it to get the most mousse. The inside, it doesn't really get that wavy, so it doesn't really matter. I kind of just glaze it, and then I do kind of, rake some of it through. And then we scrunch. When you scrunch, remember to kind of pulse at the top. Don't just like consistently go like this. You want to kind of pulse when you get to the top. And the other side. So again, I'm glazing mostly to get the mousse on the outside of my hair because that is where it's the waviest. And then we scrunch. And then I bring everything to one side and scrunch it all together. The mousse and gel I'm using are both Not Your Mother's Curl Talk, which is what I've been using from the beginning. Honestly, I haven't really spent that much time experimenting, but I did buy some Pro's products. I wanted to see if they would improve my waves. I was gonna film it. I didn't really see much of an improvement, if any. If you guys do wanna see that video anyway, let me know and I can do a before and after of using Pro's products. So now that the mousse is in, I'm gonna go in with some gel. I use like maybe a blueberry and a half amount, and I actually add some water to it and then distribute it in my hands. And then I glaze again because I don't really need to add more product where it's not doing anything. So I kind of just glaze on the outside. And even when I'm scrunching, I kind of am focusing on that outside layer because personally for me, my 2A waves are really on the outside of my hair. Obviously, if you have more wavy hair all throughout, then kind of evenly focus and evenly distribute your product. But for me, it's mostly on the outside. And then same thing on my right. Just glazing it on the outside and starting the scrunch from the outside of my hair because that's where I want the product, and then slowly making my way through the rest of it. Bringing my hair together on one side and scrunching it all out. So the process is done, and I can just let my hair air dry from here. I do usually just hover diffuse it a bit because I just want the process to be faster and I just want my hair to dry faster. But you could totally just leave it to air dry from here. When I hover diffuse, I always have it on a medium heat setting only, and I usually spray in some heat protector as well. All right, my hair is about 80% dry, and I'm just gonna let the rest air dry, and then I'll be back to show you the final results. My hair is dry now, so the last step is just to scrunch out the crunch. I use some Moroccan oil to also smooth it out as I'm doing this. I kind of just tip the bottle over a couple times and use about that much. Distribute it on my hands. And again, I kind of glaze because most of my gel and crunchiness is on the outside, since that's where I put my product. When it's dry like this, I don't really scrunch upwards anymore because the wave patterns are already there. So to scrunch out the crunch, I just scrunch it kind of vertically like this. If you have wavier hair, scrunching upwards may help you, but you can see, like, if I were to do that with my hair, I'm kind of just capturing the ends of my hair and not the top part. So I just scrunch vertically like so. And like I mentioned to you earlier, the inside of my hair, really not wavy. It's like a 1C sort of situation. It still has a bend to it. It still has like a very, very faint little wave. It's not dead straight, but it does not look like the outside of my hair. And that's it. That is the full routine for my 2A waves that started out as my refresh routine, but honestly is now just my standard routine moving forward. Like I said, I'm someone who showers in the evening, so spending a ton of time styling my hair to only have to refresh it again in the morning really makes no sense, because when I refresh my hair, it looks exactly like this. I'd say the only real difference is that sometimes when I style it after I shower and really spend time on it and try not to disturb it, I get a couple of coily girls on my left side. But are those two coily girls worth all the time and effort into styling? No. I actually kind of like my wavy hair to look a bit more uniform anyway, so I don't mind them not showing up. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a like and subscribe for more. I hope this wavy hair routine for lazy girls works for you, because we all got more things to do than spending too much time on our hair. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.